Hey guys, Jag here, and welcome to day number 9. Hope you guys are ready for this and learning good stuff, right? And doing a bit of work as well. So, what we talked about yesterday was that we need to go out and start creating content. That's the number one thing. We must be creating content. So, if you haven't started doing it, this is the time to start doing it. And this is one of the things which you never stop. And here's one thing. Uh, this is something I'm going to share with you guys. You probably know this, but probably haven't heard of it. I mean, probably haven't realized it by now that if you're an expert, and if I say you're an expert, right? So at anything, or you want to be an expert, you are a thought leader, you are a coach, you are a consultant, you are somebody who's trying to sell their knowledge or their experience, right? So if you're one of those people who are trying to sell your knowledge, experience, and any sort of expertise, you are in the part of the expert industry. So this is the number one thing, right? You must be sharing your knowledge, right? So there's three ways we can share our knowledge. And this is simplest form I found. One is you can do by video. The other one you can do by audio, or the third one you can do by writing. There's only three ways you can share knowledge, right? So whatever works for you, pick one. Pick one and keep doing for 12 months. Whatever that works for you. Video, YouTube videos, Facebook videos. You can repurpose them anytime. Audio is called podcast. These days called podcast, but you can do audio anywhere, right? So writing called blogs. Some people do all of them, some people do one of them, but you must be doing one of them and find out which one works the best for you. For me personally, I like videos, I like podcast, I kind of like writing as well. Depends what it is for me, but I try my best every week that I need to share my knowledge. And here is something, if you don't have it in place, you must have it. Something called, this is completely opposite to this, I mean completely different stuff, but I do have things called rituals. In a business you must have certain rituals. For me, one is share. One is share my knowledge, right? Share my expertise with the other one. Sharing could be videos, sharing could be podcasts, sharing could be anything of these ones. You must be doing it. So if you haven't started it, you better start now, because in next couple of years you're going to have a big vault or a library to work with, which you can give away to people for free, right? So that's the number one things, but this is not what we're going to talk about. Today we're going to talk about your webinar, right? So your webinar is everything now. So your webinar, which is going to be running in next couple of days, if you haven't scheduled it, please do it. It's for yourself. Go and do it. And you must give, if you're running an online webinar, you must give 3-4 days notice for people. The only thing you must be doing right now is calling people to jump on this webinar, and that's what you need to do. So today we're going to talk about what you're going to be sharing on that webinar. When you're on the webinar, what are you going to be doing? So the webinar needs to be at least 40 to 60 minutes, and that's the duration of the webinar. And the other thing you must be doing is, remember this, when you run this webinar, you can run using Zoom webinars. Sometimes this is what happens when you start a business, you don't have 100 people on the webinar. And if you show other people that you only have one person, it kind of doesn't look nice, right? So what you can do is buy a Zoom webinar feature instead of Zoom meeting feature. When you are in a meeting, everybody can see each other, like how many people are there on the call, how many people are on the meeting. But when you are on Zoom webinar, nobody knows how many people you have on the webinar, so they can't see how many people are turning on that, right? So that's why it's really important to have the Zoom webinar. So you don't need to worry. Even if you have one person turned up, you can just deliver it and think it's a 50 people, but the other person has no clue how many people are there. So that's the main thing, right? So you must be mindful of this, that you want to make sure that you don't feel bad that if you only have 1 or 2 people show up at the webinar. So webinar has got one thing we want to do, right? So this is In the webinar, there is one focus, and it's only one focus. You don't want to have 50,000 things going on. The one focus is this thing, what we called belief. Now, the question is, today, they believe in this. I want them to believe in, this is desired belief. I want them to believe in a certain way. So make sure that the belief has something to do with buy your products. So that's what it's something to do with, right? So what it means is today they believe in this way. After my event, they must believe in this way so that they can buy my product and services, right? Something you need to figure out what they must believe in to buy from me. What do they need to believe in to buy from me? And that's the biggest thing. So the entire event, whatever you're going to be running, need to cater for this, for them to believe in this. So meaning that if they want to build their business, they must work or they must hire Jack to work with them, right? So that's just a belief, right? So, or any belief you can think of. If they want to be successful in their marketing business, they must work with Jack to scale their business. If you want to be successful in your coaching business, you must enroll into our startup program, right? So that's a belief I'm trying to build. So depending which one. So if you want people to buy from you, you must be changing their beliefs. So anything to do with that, that belief need to be changed. Today they believe in this way, after that they believe in a certain way, right? So that's the number one thing. That's the start that you started. When you ask, hey Jack, what should I be covering in the webinar? Anything and everything which help them change their belief, right? So belief change is the main thing. But overall, what you should be talking about this thing, right? So they have these three major problems, right? We talked about it earlier. One, two, three. So they have three major problems at the moment. So firstly, you need to talk about these three major problems, right? So these three major problems, why, 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 and what, what, and what. So these are the two things. And 80%, 20%, 80%, 20%, 80%, and 20%. So what it means is you talk about why they have this problem, why they have problem number two, why they have a problem number three, what they can do to fix that problem, what they can do to fix that problem, what they can do to fix a problem. And you're not talking about how, how, how. You're not talking about how they can fix a problem, how they can fix this problem, or how they can fix this problem. This is a major one, guys. This is one of the important things I can teach you today. If you're running a webinar, you must be talking about why they have this problem, why they have this problem, why they have this problem. So remember we talked about, you're talking about three problems they have, three major problems they have. Problem number one, problem number two, and a problem number three. Why they have these problems. First, why they have this, why they have this, why they have this. And then you talk about what they can do to fix it, 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 not how. We're not giving them how in this webinar, how they can fix it, what they can do it to fix it, right? So these are the three things you do it in your webinar. So hope this makes sense. Go and do your webinar. You know what you need to do. So first, three major problems, you want to help them fixing it, and that's what we want to do for your webinar, and that's the important one, right? So go and do the work and put a Facebook event, create your graphics using canva.com or canvas.com, and invite few friends, invite few people, and share that with everybody, and let's see what happens, right? So we want to do this. And most important bit, I forgot to actually mention it. What do you do at the webinar at the end? And at the end, you're not selling anything. So in the beginning, you might want to tell them that, hey, there is nothing to buy. At the end, what do you say is application. Means that, hey, if you want to speak to me, book in the time with me. I want to help you. If you want need my help, if you want us to help you fill in these details, book in a call. So meaning that everything is an application based. So you're not selling anything on stage, and there is a reason for this, because when you're starting out, you're not an expert. I don't believe I was an expert, and I'm still not an expert in that to sell on stage. There are many people. What works the best for me is when I speak to people, because I can actually make them understand how I can help them scale their businesses. And that works really well for me. So application works the best. So you're not selling anything. What are you doing is asking people to apply for it, asking people to book a strategy call for it, helping people saying, hey, book a strategy call so that I can actually help you, right? So this is what you're doing at the end. You're not selling anything on a stage. All right. Hope this makes sense. Let's do it. And let's make this event a successful one. But in the meantime, keep doing content every day. All right, that's it for me. Speak to you guys tomorrow.